I guess the final install tips that's worthwhile letting people know. You know, probably one of the main ones, to be honest, that I wouldn't have thought of. I'm sure plenty of builders would know this, I don't know. Whether you don't just recommend it, but you have to cut the ends of the board. Definitely.
Yeah. And first step before installing a Trex deck, read the instructions.
Yeah.
I can't stress it enough. Builders are qualified people. They're good at what they do, but it doesn't hurt to have a quick read to avoid any mishaps further down the track.
I think that's kind of a good point too, because you know, you hear, and you've probably heard this too, composites have come such a long way, but the minute you mention composites to some builders, they're like, nah. But they're talking about, you know, generations ago when composites really, you know, were a temperamental product.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still some of those out on the market,
yes,
but not Trex, and that's why we love it. But the factory end cutting
is critical. The boards are cut hot and moving at the factory, and they leave a porous end. Once you trim that factory end off, you're essentially sealing the board. If you don't cut that factory end off, you will get a slight swelling of that end, and then there's reasons for a warranty claim, but it's not actually a warranty claim, it's down to the installation. Again, I think the first step in the install guide mentions cut factory ends off boards. So you either do it from the pack, or if you're going to overlay the boards into a breaker board or a picture frame zone, you can then get all your boards laid and then zip them all in place, and then at least you know all your boards are moving at the same rate.
And you know, exactly what you said about, you know, running them over and then trimming them all at the same time, that sort of leads into one of the other pretty important points.
Yes.
And I see this often with composites. I'm sure you do as well.
Yes.
Because as we know, composites do move in the heat. So the fact that, you know, if you're laying a board or a deck, and you've laid multiple boards throughout the day,
yep,
those boards are going to be, what's the word? How would you describe that? Or how would you?
That will be, essentially the word you probably use would be seasoning.
Seasoning,
yeah.
Yep.
So they do.
Acclimatizing.
Yes, exactly. Acclimatizing is probably a better word. And that leads to another point in the instruction manual where dry fitting of a deck. So by dry fitting we mean once your joist is down, put all your boards face up on the deck. First of all, it's somewhere to stand while you're working on the deck, but then also you can see the colour variation throughout the board. You can match in the colours a bit better.
Because the packs could be different, correct? Like it's, as in, do you mean like that could vary a bit in colour?
The colour variation, exactly. So Trex try to mimic natural timber as much as they can. So you will get random dark patches in a deck, or in a board, I should say. If you can blend that throughout the deck, have a much better looking finished product, as opposed to a whole dark section in one end of the deck and a lighter section in the other. You can really blend it in quite well.
And most builders would be used to doing that with timber, so that's not really any different anyway.
If you think of a log of timber, and when they cut it all up, you might have 6 or 7 different colours in one log. So to really match that colour variation through the deck, I think is essential with composites.
It's a nice little tip.